Well, if that's the case, we're going to put a school there. If the homes are going in there, we're going to put a school there.
Well, let's go back to your underwriting then. What about a 7-year agreement that it won't become surplus property within 7 years?
I already put that right away. I can't imagine it hard for me to do it in that. And I don't think there's any way. Yeah. I think that was a
He tried to put that, yes, based on the response from Mr. Grizzle's attorney wanting, for it to be in a school site indefinitely. He attempted to come up with a compromise, and his compromise was 7 years.
well, it's a consensus for more. Let's do this and sign this thing. No? I'm opposed. Call for the vote. 7 years.
I mean, there's no guarantee. I mean, state funding for schools and
All we're doing is saying we won't put it up for surplus property for a 7-year period.
And if so,
That way.
if Fred has full rights, it won't matter.
well, if he has first rights of refusal at fair market value, it doesn't make any difference. And you do need to cover the other two issues also. Regarding the fees.
Already covered that.
Oh, I apologize.
And everything else.
The city doesn't. But we did already cover the city.
But I would like to talk about the attorney's fees. That's reciprocal. That benefits both parties the same. It's only whoever breaches the agreement. The party that loses the lawsuit is liable for the legal fees. And I know you realize it was in our previous agreement, and that's probably why you wanted to throw it out. But it's also in the California Association of Realtors form. It's one that I'm sure Judy uses. Everybody uses this form. It's in there. In fact, I would do this deal on this form with the agreement of 7 years as a school site. Why make it more complicated? If you don't reach the agreement, you have no liability on attorney's fees. And I feel the same way. I mean, if I do something wrong, I deserve to pay your attorney's fees. And it's such a simple, fair land deal. I can't see why anybody would be suing anybody anyway. I mean, there's nothing out there.
Well, I think part of the drawback we have on attorney fees is that a private citizen, if we win, you probably won't have to pay our attorney fees. You can probably fight, you can fight that. And the chances that you can get a judge to override that and have the district that say that you have to pay our fees are very, very slim. Most of the time, the public entity is not able to recoup attorney fees. Yeah, we might recoup 5 or 10%, but most of the time, the public entity does not recoup 100% attorney fees.
I would think if it's in our contract that you deserve it if you prevail, and vice versa. What this really does is it makes the contract enforceable. Let's say that we went with a 7-year use restriction, and 2 years from now, houses start going up out there. Well, maybe I do or don't have the $30,000 or $50,000 to file a lawsuit or chase you guys on it, even though you were clearly in breach, and vice versa. What if I breach the contract? It really works both ways. It's fair protection, reciprocal.
Still opposed.
Would you want to put something together and go something right now, or go back and go to section?
If you do anything, I'd say go back in full session. Closed session.
then is there any other issues that we should know if we decide to take this back after the meeting's over and discuss the attorney fee situation, the surplus property in 7 years, or is it some type of agreement of purchase back, first right of refusal, whatever that particular situation? The MOU that we'd like to get with El Centro, the city of El Centro, only spelling out what, I guess what we look at as a district, what we know we can do, that the state says we can do, and we want to make sure El Centro, the city of El Centro knows this is all we're going to do, i.e. the streets, you know, that you brought up. And if you change that, Mrs. Hamrick's water line, and it goes in a different direction, that might become a moot point. And we just want to make sure they know that our agreement, and I think we've all agreed tonight that it can be on a separate sheet of paper. They don't need to know what this actually is. It's just that we're saying our agreement says between the Linda Vista property owners and the school district, this is all we're going to do. So if there's something else in there, we're not going to be on the hook for it somewhere down the line. Okay? Is there anything else that we might need to discuss? Because I think we can probably come to some kind of consensus after we talk through this a little bit more tonight, and we'll be able to get something to you tomorrow morning via email. Is there any other areas of the contract that need to be discussed before we take this back?
Yeah, let me just clarify one thing. If we do the 7-year use restriction, then we don't want any repurchase right or reversion or anything like that.
It's just 7 years in this.
The other thing is,
That's
that,
like we'll go 7 years?
No.
And we won't.
We would be out under the contract if they don't build in years.
Right. In other words, we have to hold the property for 7 years. If it goes to 8 years, then we're off.
The district can
It's a moot
declare a
point.
surplus or build.
And I can understand where where they're coming from, and that they're protecting their development, from future potential of somebody coming in. And that, again, is not our intention, but life does change, and the boards do change, and I can see where you would
interpretation?
yeah, exactly what Mark said.
Yeah. See, there's 7 years and 1 day is that part of the agreement is gone away, and that's no longer an issue. We build on it before 7 years, then it's not an issue either.
Or 12 years.
Or 12 years is not an issue, anytime, but anytime before 7, we have to go at least 7 years before we can do anything. Okay.
It is spelled out in this agreement what we're seeing is our responsibility for the streets. And I think that we want to keep that spelled out, just so that the city knows that, even though part of the streets are already put there.
That's the one that we'd like to go to the separate agreement.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, the trees and the
That's fine.
drain. And I think we can reword the drain that if the drain is to go across school right away, then this is what the school is willing to do. If it changes and goes down the southern part of the school property, then it's a moot point. If you redesign the drain line, then we don't have to worry about it anymore, and so be it.
And if you still need your language on the redesign of the grade line, I'll note down to Brian. So you want to put 2.1 and 2.3?
Well, we would like to say in this agreement that there is a secondary MOU with the city, so that it just refers to this agreement that there is this MOU. I don't know if that's...
If we can do that without the city being a signer on this.
No, exactly. No, the only signers will be these two parties, but that we have, when somebody reads this agreement, that they'll also know that there's another document filed with the city that says they know. We don't know whether they'll agree or not. All we're going to ask them, I think, in the letter is that we're letting you know that we want you to be aware of what we have agreed upon in our purchase agreement with the Grizzles, or Linda Vista, whatever, I can't remember which call. Anyway, so we have this agreement, and it says this is what we're willing to do within the Linda Vista property, so that it just spells out. And then we're going to give a letter to the city. We hope that they'll sign it. It says, yes, we're aware that